Okay, so it seems that we're all set because I had some Teams drama. Can I have a thumbs up from somebody? Can you see me? Can you hear me? Is everything's okay? Yes, thanks, Rich. Thank you. Okay, so we're good to go. Hello, Dan. Hello, everybody. Welcome to, let's get this down. There you go. Welcome to our very first, it's not our first, it's our sixth webinar, but the first for 2024 on Kompass BMS. So welcome. And hang on, let's get this out. So here we are for, this webinar. And what a great subject that we have right now on the beginning of 20. Oops, let me just change the page. There you go. This is an excellent webinar that we have for the beginning of the year, just to get an inside look on your operations and accounting team and how they can seamlessly and efficiently work together on this brand new, for some, fiscal year. We will be looking at the invoices and payments modules, and we will be having a look initially how we can get down to invoicing from operations when we have our valuations, how we're getting our valuations from operations, from project managers, all the way down to invoicing, raising the invoices and see some of the templates that we can use and get some ideas through that. And then we will be looking on how we will record the payments. As always, please feel free to just drop any questions you might want to drop during the webinar in this Q&A section just above my head. And then I will be having 3 breaks in total where I will be checking whether there are any questions and try to answer them. This webinar is being recorded, as all of them. It will be available to you after the end of the webinar, and then you will be able to find it on our YouTube channel, along with all the other webinars that we've seen in the past. So most of you know me already. I'm Spiros. I'm the Customer Success Manager of Kompass BMS, assisting all our customers really to just get as much value as possible through Kompass. I sound like a broken record. I'm saying these things over and over again, but there we go. This is the thing. So let's just jump straight away into Kompass and begin with our webinar. Ooh, lots of windows. I should have closed some of those windows. Anyways, here we are. You've seen the dashboard, you know the dashboard, but then we will just jump into the projects because, as we've said at the very beginning, we would like to see the whole process from operations and the works that are being done all the way down to invoicing. I will begin with project, here it is, 56266. Let's just jump in the project. And then, well, actually, no, let's stay here. You can see in here that we had 209 hours budgeted for this project to complete it. We have already completed 43 hours. We have recorded 43 hours. However, we can see in this little status update in here that we haven't mentioned whether we have completed some works. So currently, even though we've done some works, we haven't mentioned them as done. So if I will go here on the status update, we're not going to stay here for long, but what I would like to show is that the project manager, hang on, let's go to December. The project manager will have to decide how many works have been completed for each and every proposal item. So for example, on traverse of site and surrounding, they might think that they've done 50%, oops, not 500, 50% of the works. Now we do have an indication that we have used 27% of the budgeted hours to complete those works, but still we are very efficient. We've done our work very, very nicely, and we are on 50%. Or then we can have some rated items, some T&M, where we will be charging our client per hours, for example, per hours worked. So in here, you can see that we have worked 11 hours. And actually, let me just show you something really quickly. If we will get somebody recording their hours right now on that particular project, then we can go back here to the status update. Let's click save, and then we will open it again. We can go back here. There you go. So now they're 19. So as you can see, we are in the operation front right now. Hours being recorded, checking what we've done during the project. We are in this operations realm. So I would say that I can invoice 19 hours. And also I would say that for that particular one, yeah, I've used 8.4 hours, but on laser scanning, I haven't done that much. I kind of estimate that we have only done 5% of the works. This is really helpful for long-standing projects, for projects that last a couple of months or even years, where each and every month you will have to just show how much of the works have been completed. If I will click Save now me as a manager, Loretta Williamson, I've done my part. I have already saved my status. I have already mentioned how many works have been done, and that will be the case for all of my projects as Loretta. So now I am ready to just go back to finance and just tell them that, guys, you're good to go. Just go on that project and raise an invoice you will have to raise according to my valuation. If I will go now to finance, we can see, oops, is it that I haven't saved the status? Let's have a quick look. Save. Let's click Edit and go down here. Aha. So it seems that we have some nasty status updates. Anyways, we will fix it straight away. If I will go here and I will create an invoice. So we would say that we are doing those works, let's say January. Let's say that I'm raising this invoice in January and that my invoice is for those particular works. My invoice is for 12th January for December the 1st up until December the 31st. So what I'm saying here is that I do raise the invoice 1st of January 2024. However, the works have been carried out in December. And then I can just go here and see immediately what is the amount that I can invoice based on the valuation that we've done. Now, we had some nasty valuations in January. We will fix that, and then it's going to be ready once we will go back to the main page. Now, in here, I can just see that, okay, my project manager told me that I can invoice 1,871, which is the 50% of the full amount of the price. So I can just pass all those values in here, and I'm ready. I'm ready to raise the invoice. Now, as you can see, you can be flexible on this one. You might know very well that for the laser scanning, actually, you can invoice a little bit more. Just don't invoice only £83. You as finance and as accounting, you do speak with your client and you do know that they are happy to just give you £200 on this one, $200 on this one. Or they might say that on this one, you know what, we can only pay you $1,200. That's all you can get for that particular one. If I will click Save, then I can just see straight away, we still have that issue with evaluation. Let's go and kill that, edit. So let's go and do that as 50, 19. That is a bit of a fake valuation that was there, that shouldn't be there really. And click refresh. So there we go. Now we can see that the full price of the works are 16,000. We have valuated just before, at the beginning of our session, we have valuated 12,000. And then we have only invoiced 11,000. And this is the work in progress. This is the difference between what has been valuated versus the invoiced amount. We can see that it's positive because it kind of indicates that you could potentially invoice a little bit more based on the valuation of the project manager. Once we are creating the invoice, the other thing that I want to show you is that once you are creating it, you can actually decide whether it will synchronize with your own accounting system that you will be using for your AR reports, etc. So once you will click that, that will synchronize straight away. Depend obviously on how Kompass has been synchronizing with that particular software. Also, when it comes to invoicing, it's really frequent that occasionally you will have to attach some files, attach some photos, for example, some things that you would like to add. So you can have it in here. You can just add whichever document you want, and then that will be able to be sent straight away to your client. So with that said, I think that I will make a short break just to see whether we have any questions. Let me just bring up the Q&A. Quiet. silence on the Q&A and on the chat room. Okay, cool. So I will continue, but as always, if you have any question, feel free to drop them in. Rich, I can see that you are typing something. I can just get back to you on the second half of it. So take your time. Okay, so now the other thing that I would like to show you is the, oops, what have I done? What have I done? I just jumped back to the project. Let's go to the invoice. And now you obviously don't have to sit down and write the whole invoice and just make it, just type it manually on a Word document. You can export it straight away from Kompass. In here, documents, and you can choose whichever invoice you like. Now, most of our customers do have one invoice type. For example, I will just show you the fixed price. Let's download it and see how it looks like. Save. Okay, so is it? Yep. Is it still downloading? Yes, it is downloaded right now. This is a really simple one. Just a simple invoice that we have just the rate and the amount, and this is the full amount that you will have to get paid, that you will have to ask your client. And this is the beauty of Kompass, that you've got all your proposal items which do speak your own surveying language. However, all this is kind of passed through all the project, all the way down to invoicing, and you can just see for each and every works what is being invoiced. And it's really, really helpful for your clients as well, rather than just seeing project filled with keys, this is the amount. They can see exactly what there is in here. However, you can be way too elaborate on the invoices that you can create. And what we are saying to all of our customers is that every time that you're seeing that you're kind of repeating a task, you will kind of constantly having to export the invoice and do some tweaks, please let us know, because there are lots and lots of ways that we can help you on this one. I would like to show you another example, the daily work logs. This is kind of a complicated invoice, and it's inspired from one of our customers' invoices. And you can see all the kind of things that we can do in here. First of all, as you probably have seen before, you can just export as Word or as a PDF. And also, you can send the email directly through Kompass. So you don't have to actually download it, put it on an email, send it. Just send directly from here. And actually, this is what I'm going to do. And by the way, if we had any attachments, those would be included as well. I will send and download. And then let me just jump on my... Yep. Okay. So I've just received the email. Here it is. Oops. Open the email. Here is the email. Now, we have decided in here, in that particular demo version of Kompass, to just have this text, but it's entirely down to you on what you would like to write in here. And then we've got the invoice, and now you can see how complicated that invoice can be. So in here we have our billings, and then in here we have the itemized, as we've seen before, for each and every proposal item. Then we might want to show each and every hour recorded within December. And this is another good reason why we're having the billing period, because if we will have to export some particular hours, Kompass will have to know which hours to export and from which days, from which period. So in here you have all those hours recorded. I don't want to go through lots of details about the warnings, but it's kind of showing you that they're really, really dynamic, and they're really helpful on just locating possible errors as well, and just creating the tables exactly as you like them. Or in here, you have the daily workforce log. Each and every day, you are getting a full analysis of what people have done, which were the employees, and how many hours they have recorded. As I've said before, this is just inspired from one of our clients, but it can just show that we are kind of limitless on the things that we can achieve with those templates. So as long as you're not annoyed by having a long list of templates in here, a very long list that most of our customers don't, feel free to just just let us know if you have any sort of an invoice that you would like to prepare. Have I covered? No, I have to just go back to projects, and I would like to show you a different option of how operations and finance, as we've seen from the very beginning, are kind of linked within this process of invoicing and payments. So I would like to go on that project, 52184. And in here, we have kind of the opposite. We've seen before that we had some positive week, meaning that we will need to invoice a little bit more just to get to zero. In here, we've got the opposite. We've got minus WIP. That is because we have a price of 7,000. Our valuation operations have done nothing. They're on zero. And then we have an invoiced amount. Some of you might be familiarized with this case when you have some advance payments. You haven't done any works. However, you went back to the client and said that, for those equipment that we're buying, we will just get that we will just invoice them straight away. So it does happen, and you might see that negative WIP. So in that case, what you will have to do is just go back to operations, to your valuations, and here it is. As I've said, everything is at zero. Do we have any? You know what? Actually, let's just put it on 16 so that we will not have the same issue that we had before. So I will just go here and I will add my valuations, 100%, that is on 70%, and that is on 8 hours, 8 rate. If I'll click save now and go back to finance and click refresh, we can see that this has been refreshed straight away. Now, me as a project manager have said that we've done more works than what have been invoiced already, thus the WIP being positive. And I've covered everything for this break. Let's do a short break. Let's see whether we have any questions. Richard, if you haven't synchronized your Kompass system with your accounting system, you're generating the invoice first. If at any point after generating the invoice in Kompass, you may need to retract the invoice, remember to delete the invoice in Kompass. Oh, it's kind of a statement. Thank you for that, Rich. Thank you. Actually, if you can, yeah, indeed. If I'm not very familiar with how the synchronization work, but I kind of think and I kind of suspect that this is something that you have worked with yourself at your end. But yeah, when it comes to synchronization, if you have any questions, let us know. Probably I will forward them to the team because I'm not very savvy with that. Cool. Okay, so let's move on. Do I have any Q&A? Because that was on chat. No, Q&A chat, they're all clear. Okay, let's move to our very last section of our webinar, where we will be talking about payments as well. The very first thing that there is a thing that I would like to show you. Yes. So we haven't seen the dashboard. I will just go on that invoice in here that we have raised, and I will edit it and look at what I'm going to do. I will just throw some zeros in here. Yes, that will do. 1 million. Now, obviously, that will drive the project crazy. The WIP is going to be all over the place, but still, we would like just to check something, just to show you something. So if we're going to go back to the dashboard, we've seen that in our previous webinar. If I will go to that stock graph and I will click invoices, now you can see that 1 million, subsurface engineer, you can see that it's 1.2 million. So you can see that there is a spike in here with that green color exclusively from that particular department. Excuse me. And it does make sense because that invoice has been raised in January. Therefore, in accounting standards, you can just immediately see what is there, what has been invoiced on that particular month. However, if you will change that to invoices billing end, now that has been shifted down to December because it's just showing you this invoice is raised for works that have been carried out in December. So it kind of giving you a better understanding of how many works have been invoiced that you have carried out in December. And you can see that January there's nothing. There are still some invoices in there, but there are for works of January. So that's how the billing end works. And with one of our customers, actually, it's really interesting because all the invoices have a billing date of the previous month. Therefore, when you're changing from invoices to invoices billing, you can just see the graph skipping a bit, just going further down leftwards. And yes, the other thing that we would like to see to run projects, yes, let's head to payments now. And payments and invoicing is and invoices are two modules that they're not very open to everybody. So even if your organization are using them, not many people can see them. Therefore, those are modules that the most people will see. Most of our users might not be fully aware of them. So if I will go here, let's create a payment. You can create a payment actually, and that's what I kind of prefer. If I will go to the project, into the finance, I kind of prefer to create it from here, just to create the payment in there. Oops, can you see that whip? 1 million, yep. So, and I would like to do that through here because it kind of auto-populates the organization rather than having to do it manually myself. But obviously you can just go from the payments and create it. As on each payment, as you know very well, you might get a payment that is paying several invoices, and you can just choose them all or choose all the invoices that have been that are relevant for that particular payment. Kompass will not just show you all the invoices of that particular organization, it will only show those that have an open amount. Now, I will go here and I will put a reference PB01. And as a gross amount, let's say that I'm going to put 50,000. Yeah, that we do. So now I can just go on my invoice allocations per proposal items and just mention what has been paid, which proposal item has been paid, which invoice has been paid. So in that case, I can just say that with this payment, I got the entire amount of 1,000. I got those 2 invoices are fully paid. There you go. I didn't get anything on the 1.2 million, but I've got everything like that. And I will click Save. Now, in here, you can immediately see that there is something red in here, and some of you might have already clocked on that I've said that I have received 50,000, but I have only allocated 13,000. What about the rest 36? Where shall I place them? I will just go back to the payment, and actually what I will do is I will just get this amount, 36,928.5, edit. 30, oops, it's up here, up on top. 36,928.5. Yes, here it is. Now everything is allocated, as you can see. And I will click Save, and the payment is there. Nothing unallocated. Everything is allocated from that particular payment. And then if I will go back to invoices, something that I haven't showed you before when we were on that screen, we have that 3 filters. We have all invoices, open invoices. Yes, as you've expected, that 1.2 is here hanging because we haven't got £1 million from this one. And then you have the fully paid invoices, which are here, and you don't have to worry that much about them anymore. Now, if I will go back to the dashboard, and we've seen the invoices, we do have the payments as well. So you can see the payments allocations as well in here as on every other graph. And you can see that as on every other graph, I mean, you have all those slicers and you have all those start by department or by estimator, by manager, by probability, whatever. Most of you might be aware of this little cog and how it works. So by service, I can just see all the payments by service in here. And I think that I have covered everything that I wanted to. Let's just jump back here. So I will just go back once again to see whether we have any questions or queries. No, we don't have any questions. So probably I've done my work well, hopefully. Now, let's jump back to the presentation. Here we are. So then we are done once again with this webinar. Thank you once again. Thank you for your time this January. This is the very first webinar that I am having, and it's pitch black out there here in London. So in this lovely morning for most of you in the US, as always, you can find me at my email. You know me. You can just drop me an email. And if you are new to Kompass, and if you haven't seen Kompass, if you're not working with Kompass and you would like a demo, you can find the link up there. Follow us on LinkedIn. Check us on our YouTube channel. This webinar is going to be available by tomorrow, early tomorrow. But yeah, you will receive an email either way. So thank you very much, everybody, and all the best. Have a lovely day. Bye-bye.